Silence! It's time! It's time! It's
time for another episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Sit back and get back and get back and grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 367 of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Let's go, man. Today is a good day because we got ourselves some epic news coming from the world of PlayStation. And man, I gotta say, I am freaking excited. What about you, Tyler?
There was one beer left in the house, so I just had to grab it. Now I gotta drink it. Oh, God, it's Busch Light. Just, I gotta drink it, I guess. No, I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. It's been a fun day, it's like, we've been talking a lot lately about how E3's been gone, but it's like I miss that, that excitement feeling that that you get from it. And today was like the closest I think a lot of people have felt for an E3 this year, which is oddly enough today would have been the last. Or today's Thursday. That's Thursday night now. Would have been the last day of E3. So it's kind of a cool way. And then we still got I don't know, who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow and EA's next week. So I don't know. It's been a crazy, fun, exciting day, for sure. It's been Sony killed it. But I don't know. It's been like 4 days since we recorded. I think we recorded Sunday night, so now there hasn't been a lot going on in the world. But luckily we had Sony because pretty much every news item this week was rumors and leaks and people talking about what about this, what about that for this event. So it's pretty much this whole week has been around this PS5 reveal. So I think we should just jump on into it because it's gonna be a long one. I don't know. Should we just go piece by piece here and jump in and just we'll discuss each one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. It's not going to be any real order here, so I'm just going to kind of jump. We'll do with the big shit first, actually. So it ended with we actually saw the box, the PlayStation 5, and then also. I think the biggest shock, not so much seeing the box, was we also saw the PlayStation 5 digital PS5. So, I don't know, what were your thoughts on the overall box and then the fact that now there's a digital one?
My overall thoughts, first off, that console reveal came out of nowhere for me because the look of it is on par with something you would see from a mock-up from some of the fake designs for like any other type of gaming consoles like beforehand. Like the kind where rumors, for the last couple consoles, like say the PS3, the PS4, or even like the new Nintendo or the new Xbox console, how people go crazy with what it potentially could look like and stuff. I'll tell you what, this PS5 looks something out of a straight fanfic, man, and it looks freaking crazy. I like it. I like it because of how much distinct it looks. The color scheme, I need to get used to because, well, it's predominantly the white mantle coloring of it. It looks sleek in regards to the actual design itself, although it looks kind of weird when it comes to like the bulk. The bulk of the disk drive and stuff, just sticking out and stuff.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of odd.
But what I did like, and what I was really surprised, is that Sony pulled the trigger when it came to having both a physical edition and a digital PlayStation edition. That is something they don't generally do. That's something that's untraditional of Sony. So with that in mind, it felt like it was more of a, not only just a pleasant surprise, but now we're looking at possible different SKUs that are possibly maybe $50 to $100 apart, which that is great news for consumers if they want to go just the digital only route. But jeez, man, there's so much to say about this console right at the moment. And that's not even knowing the inner details of the damn thing. You know, we only saw the console, the controller, but every other stuff is going to be revealed at a later date. What did you think about it, Tyler?
I absolutely love the look of that console. I'm not typically somebody that goes nuts over the look of consoles, except for like Nintendo, because they're always so different on the way theirs look. You look at Xbox, you look at PlayStation. I mean, there's differences, but it's very small differences overall. Um, my thing going into it was like, I just want this thing not to freaking wake up my girlfriend when she's sleeping in the other room while I'm trying to play when she's play in the morning. Um, but I saw that and that thing is beautiful. It's probably the most fuckable console now. I think that's easy to say, by far. Yeah, it's a thing of beauty. It kind of reminds me almost of the I can't remember what it's called, like the arc or whatever it was in like Dead Space at the end, like the thing that makes everybody go nuts at the end. I can't remember what it's called. But that's kind of but it's like with the kind of but it's white. But I love the look. It's kind of that stormtrooper white on black look. That of this console that I love. And then just kind of like, yeah, like you said, like the odd shape of it, like it twists and stuff and turns to it, is beautiful. I didn't actually notice kind of the bulky, how it kind of sticks out the disk drive at first until I saw someone mention it on Twitter, and then like I was just like, oh, it does, like compared to the digital one. But yeah, I love it. When I first saw the PS5 controller, I'm just like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I like that. But yeah, I love the way it looks with that console. So yeah, but the digital one, that one shocks me. Because like you said, that's not something we've seen Sony ever do before. We like what Xbox did it towards the end of the 360 generation with the digital only one, and
Right.
I think they did it with the Xbox, the Stat edition. I think 3 years ago, I want to say. I think it was.
It was actually fairly. I think it was still fairly recent. It must have been like 2 years ago. But
Oh, okay.
I know
Yeah.
Sony has done something before in terms of like a digital stuff, and that's with the PSP Go. That was their handheld division.
Oh,
not
you're
like a
right, yeah.
not like a full-fledged console.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people like saw that as like a thing that was just too early for its time, and I
Yeah.
think we're definitely where you look at where digital gaming is going nowadays, where it's getting. I mean, I think we're getting close to 50-50 now, digital and physical for people, and I'm like 90% digital in my games. Like the Switch, I think I'm mostly physical on because of if I can go physical, I go physical. Just because of the hardware or the amount of space that's on the SD card that we have. But yeah, I don't know. I think I like the idea of it. I think it's smart because especially because we've heard that Microsoft's going to have theirs, the Project Lockhart as it's called. Is it a streaming only one? Is it a digital only one? Like we don't really know too much of it. It's probably going to be announced sometime next month. But yeah, I like the idea of it, depending on the price difference. Because if we're talking $50, I don't see too much of a point to get that. If it's $100, I think that might. I mean, that probably be smarter. Because you look at, I think also a lot of people look at like you're losing a lot of resale value, and for the most part, physical. If you're looking for sales on games, physical is still the better way to go. They drop a lot faster. You see deals on games after they come out a lot more often on physical, a lot sooner than you would on digital. So I think most people in the world will like that option. For me personally, I'm going to ask you the same question. If I can get the physical, the regular one that has physical and digital, I'd go for that one, even if it is $100 difference. But if I can't get that one and I can only get the digital one, I'll get that. If they're both coming at launch, I guess, I'll be perfectly fine with the digital only one. But where are you staying on this?
I stand that I would like the one with the disc drive because I'm more or less loving and understanding in terms of having just physical games. That just goes into my DNA pretty much as a gamer, because you know how I like to have my games on my shelves and just have the choice of whether or not I want to play something in my own leisure, and just have. It's just a point of preference for me. To be perfectly honest, if the consoles were, say, $50 apart, that would make much more sense in my honest opinion. Like, for example, let's say this PS5, this baseline PS5 non-digital is like $500, and then the digital one's like $450 or some of the sort. I could see that potentially working in that regard, since it gives that disk drive element to those, like, it's not so much cheaper than what they initially would want to go out of this. I don't feel like the console is going to be in tearing like $600, because hey, $600 for like an all-in-one device like a PlayStation, which predominantly is going to be used for playing games. I don't see them going that route that they used with the PS3. But honestly, I feel like if I had to choose, if I had a choice between the physical and the digital model, I go physical.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure. Physical, like especially like, I had my birthday was last month, and like I asked for, my parents bought me Predator for my birthday, and bought me the physical copy. So it's like, you have to go on here and buy me the digital copy, send me the code, stuff like that. It's like it's just it's just for that reason, and plus just like I said, like I like to, I like it's nice to have the option, and also like you see deals on there. Like I got Borderlands 3 for $5. It's like I've never seen it. I've seen it for 20, maybe 15, a couple times on PS4, but never anywhere that cheap. And I'm sure there's countless other situations with that. But I've heard people talk. I mean, I think for the $50 thing would be. I mean, I think that's most likely. But it's just like at that point, it's like why I think most people would just rather pay the extra 50 if they have the option. But I've heard people talk about maybe the one with the disk drive will be 600, and the digital only one will be 500. That way they can still say there's a $500 one at launch. But do you what's your, are you thinking the 500 450 thing is the most likely option, or can you possibly see a route where the disk drive one is 600?
I don't really see any type of situation where the disc one would go up to $600. I feel like in terms of a console price point, in terms of how the landscape of gaming will be at the end of the year, is still unclear. And let me tell you something, in regards to how the PS4 Pro and how the Xbox One X and even just console sales in general this year have been up tremendously in regards than even this point last year because of everything else going on. I feel like dropping a $600 console on the market this fall is completely asinine in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Even though that, stranger things have happened, I feel like if you have a $600 console released on the market, it's going to sit. If they have limited amount of quantity and stuff, if they really advertise this FOMO mentality with this PS5 at launch, I could see potentially some of the things working. But honestly, if they really wanted to secure people buying this console, at least a $500 baseline for the disc one and $50 less for the digital one, in my honest opinion. The highest amount I feel a consumer is willing to spend on a gaming console is $500, personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, you look, like, for the most part, like, consoles are more for it. We buy it because it's ease of use. People want to put a lot of money into something and hardcore about their gaming. They'll get a PC. So yeah, I think the 500 is the smart route to go. I could see the digital only one being 400 though. I think that's a real possibility.
True.
That would be. I think that'd make it more tempting for people as well. Because you think about it, they might not make money. They might possibly lose a little bit of money for selling at 400, but they're going to make up so much money in the back end off of digital only. If those people are, because you got to imagine people that are buying the digital only one are more than likely, more like hardcore on the hardcore side of things, and you can count on people to buy a lot of games. Like those are the type they're going to buy, at least half a dozen games a year.
Right.
Or, I don't see people that just play like the Call of Duty or the big shooter of the month or sports game or whatever. I don't foresee those people buying that one, but I can see, people like me. I've seen a lot of people. I was shocked. I went on the Talking Ship group after I got done watching it, and I was looking at it, like, okay, what's everybody looking at here? And it's just like, without even discussing price or anything, like people were just saying, oh, I'm getting digital one, I'm getting a digital one, I'm getting like, I would say it was a good 70%, 70 to 30, that people were going to the digital route. And my only concern is like, okay, how does it work? Like, it's gonna suck, especially like if what's the policy on if like say my internet goes out, like my modem breaks and I don't have internet for a week. Like, am I still able to play these games? It's like it's the same concern we had like going at like last generation. It's like you got to go online every 7 days or whatever. Like, is that gonna be an issue? I don't really know what the policy is now on that. Like, if I never hooked, if I just disconnected my PS4 right now, am I still able to play my PS4 games forever? As long as I'm able, I have my login to my account. Like that's kind of questions I have on that end. I want these answered before I get into if I were to go that route. But I mean, for me, if I have an option, if I only have that option at that launch, I'll be fine with the digital only one. But I would much rather have the physical one, the disc drive one. But
Now you see,
okay,
I initially thought that the digital one would be like a $400 system, but at the same point, I kind of felt like in terms of the brick and mortar retailers, I feel like that Sony will go ahead and have it maybe as a $50 increment, because it's less enough to where people are tempted to go through and get that digital only system. However, if you pay $50 more, you get the disc-based one, and at least you'll have for the customers that have that familiarity where, hey, you can go forth and buy the discs. You can still have your traditional stuff for everyone else and stuff. It's like that constant to where I feel it's going to be a $50 increment because of the fact they still want to sell their products inside brick and mortar stores.
yeah, and that's interesting too, because I mean, I guess we already know that Walmart and all of them will sell these things because the Xbox has been doing it for a while. But yeah, it's just that it's crazy where we're going with that, because this is something like I remember years ago we never thought would be like a thing, and it's like now that's be like I know like even like GameStop won't sell Xboxes or PlayStations if they come bundled with the digital code. Like they have to have a physical copy of the game in them. Like when I bought my Xbox One, it came bundled with Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, the second one. And if I would have bought it like at Best Buy, it would give me a digital code. But because I bought it at GameStop, I got the physical copy of the game. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Just because they don't like, obviously don't like selling those. I don't know if that's changed since then, but that was 2014, 2015. But moving on, because apparently there was 26 games announced, and we haven't even started talking about those yet. Should I go in order by this article? Or you want to go with the big guns first and make our way down?
Let's go by order.
Okay. So, shit, I lost my spot. Here, I gotta scroll back. All right. So, one game that was announced was Bugsnax.
Bugsnax.
Yeah. This is from the Octodad creators. It's set for holiday 2020. What was your thoughts on this this trailer?
First off, I didn't know what to think about it initially, because quintessentially you have all these residential like villagers or something eating these creatures that are that are just like weird and shit, and it was like freaking nightmare fuel, because all of a sudden it's like the dude narrating the freaking trailer goes through and eats this little sentient strawberry and stuff, and all of a sudden his limbs just started like just changing on end, like what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, he's like his arm became a strawberry.
Oh my god! But my favorite moment of that trailer was towards the end of it. You have this dude just walks into the shot and stuff. Just the narrator's like, sir, I dropped my lantern with my wiener hands and stuff like that in order to and the village is on fire. As soon as he said that, I just started laughing. It's like fucking wiener. But what's interesting to note is this game is made by the same creators as Octodad.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I really like the concept. I also like the little tease at the end where it's like something darker. You see all these creatures that start eating each other, and all of a sudden it just gets this monstrosity, like a homunculus type of creature. Oh my gosh. I honestly don't know how this game's going to go, or even see what the gameplay will be. But the concept about it is pretty funny.
Yeah. Like I mean, I've seen a lot of the Octodad game. Those games look like they're fun, but it's something I think I'd play a couple times and be burn out on. Kind of like what's that goat game? God damn it.
Goat Simulator.
Goat Simulator. Yeah, like that game's fun. I played the game a few times for like probably like 3-4 hours, and like it's definitely a fun time, but it's like one of those games I would never go back to. But yeah, I don't know. Like I look like it's kind of funny and stuff. It might be like a fun little thing to talk about or play for a little bit, but I don't like. I don't have too much to say on that one for me personally. But I think that that if that's a launch title, I think the game's gonna sell quite a bit. But moving on, Horizon 2, also known as Horizon Forbidden West. This probably, I think everybody knew this was happening. It was just all cinematic. There was no gameplay. But Aloy's back, thank God. She was riding on a horse type robot creature, which is something you did a lot in the first one. But in this one also she's swimming, which is something she didn't do before. And she's like an icy mountain. She's in a mountain. And then also it looks like she's in a flooded San Francisco area. But no release date on this one. This has been the rumor of the big launch game for PS5. But what was your thoughts when you saw this trailer?
That trailer looked absolutely stunning.
Yes.
Everything else going in motion. My God, Guerrilla Games really, really put forth their best effort in just translating this trailer in general. Because from what I witnessed seeing the reveal of like Horizon 2, there are a lot of elements which are very intriguing. I love the aspect of all these different creatures that they're introducing. I mean, that scene where you have Aloy and stuff like that, comforting this fox or something that just got hurt, and all of a sudden, she just sees over her shoulder, all of a sudden this big old freaking rock starts moving, and it's a gigantic robotic tortoise.
Yes. Oh man, I love that.
Dude, that was an excellent scene in and of itself because it presented with a lot more mysteriousness in regards to that, and also a little bit of sort of panic and anxiety about it, because here you have this new creature you've never even seen before, and it's just all vividly detailed, all the mechanical, water's dripping out from its mouth and everything else, and on top of that, all the sea life that you see when Aloy's actually going through and swimming, and the details in regards to what the actual the trailer quality was, which honestly, I haven't seen it yet, maybe in 4K and all this other stuff. But from what I saw in that trailer, I liked a lot. Especially when she was riding that horse-like creature across the field, and everything's just so vividly flushed out and stuff. It makes me more excited to try out this game. But honestly, the fact that they didn't put a release date for this game suggests to me that this probably still is another year and a half maybe away. Personally, that's how I personally feel about it. And that's sort of the recurring theme from the games that were unveiled here. There were some that are coming out by the end of this year. However, for a game say, Horizon 2, I could see this coming out in 2022. Yeah. I could seriously see that, because the amount of quality that they put inside this trailer, they're going to put inside that freaking overworld, that sandbox-style world. And I want them to take as much time getting that fine-tuned as possible, because that is, if this is what their concept is for what direction they're going to be going with this game, then holy shit, they need as much time as possible to get everything else, if they're ducks in a row, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest disappointment from this was obviously I've been wanting a sequel to this game since I finished the first one, over 4 years ago. One of my favorite games of generation, one of my favorite games when we did games of the decade. This was on my top 5 list. So yeah, I obviously love the Horizon game, so I'm pumped to have the sequel. But I was hoping that maybe this would be the big, this would be I wasn't shocked. I assumed this would be the final thing. Unless they had something bigger, like a God of War or something like that. But I don't know. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping we get a good 5-6 minute maybe little stretch of some gameplay, a deep dive into it. But this makes you think that there's probably going to be another event here sometime soon, maybe a shorter one, and maybe we get a blowout there. Because I can see this, because I think, like you said, we didn't get a lot of release dates. We got some release windows. We got a couple 2021s. I think we got one 2022, a few holiday 2020. But I think we're in kind of that weird situation where, and that's been the talk ever, for the last 3 or 4 months now, is a lot of the consoles are going to come out this holiday no matter what. Yeah. Some of the games might not make that we're planning for the launch, might be early 2021 games, and maybe this is one of those things where I think Horizon Forbidden West could possibly, wouldn't be shocked if maybe it's like a February or March 2021 game instead. Like it's the launch window. It's the infamous Second Son of the PS5. For that, well, not maybe, hopefully a much better game. Second Son was okay. Was an okay
Don't tell me
game.
that.
Yeah, no, Second Son was an okay game, but it was
Second Son-
one.
And that's not to like have a knock against anybody that enjoyed Infamous Second Son, but it was that launch title game. It definitely, there was more to be desired. I liked exploring that game, but I get what you're saying though, Tyler.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it might be one of those games that comes out, something to look forward to, like the next big thing to look forward to. Because I mean, that's what we always talk about is like, cool. Like you always hear about like we have 42 games on launch, but it's like, cool. What's in January? What's in February? What's in March, April? What's coming next spring? What's coming next fall? Like, and I think this could be that. And the next game we're going to talk about, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Was the first game shown off. It's coming this holiday 2020, so it's probably going to be the big. I'm thinking this is maybe the big launch game for the PS5. But so there's, I don't know, like people were mentioning when I saw this, I kind of had that idea too. But this is getting a lot of traction. People like, remember there was that, like speaking of Infamous Second Son, they had that DLC like a year later or maybe later. It was like later that year. The First Light, I think was what it was called.
It was First Light with Fetch.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe this is that. Maybe it's like a $30-$40 thing. It might sell it at full price just because it's something, the big thing to sell. But maybe this is like a smaller, more compact thing of that. Maybe it's like another expansion for the game, but they pushed it off to the PS5. But what was your thoughts when you saw this, and what's your thoughts on what I was just saying?
Well, honestly, the most surprising thing in regards to that reveal for the Spider-Man Miles Morales edition, pretty much, I was not surprised that the game was in development, like a new Spider-Man game was in development, but what I was surprised most of was the release date for it being by the end of this year. I mean, that threw me off, honestly. I was so surprised in regards about that.
Yeah.
But for the other question in regards to if this is like, say, the First Light of the Spider-Man games, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. From what I've been reading about it, it's a full-on sequel to the original Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't see that.
That was something that I was reading off of IGN's coverage or so, because when I was looking at their webpage this evening, I saw that they typed that this is like a full-blown sequel to the original Spider-Man. But I will say, at first, I thought this was an actual DLC for the PS4 version because of how, perceiving-wise, how it looked, how it kind of felt in regards. But I don't think it's going to be like a First Light sort of game. I don't think it's going to be like a minimal type of thing. I think it's going to be like a full-on, fleshed-out Spider-Man game, only inside that same engine that they did for the same look and aesthetics as the PS4 version of, for PS, like Spider-Man. But only thing is like a little bit more crisp looking. But then again, we only saw maybe a little bit of gameplay footage. There's still a lot more to be seen for now and then. But I think one of the more surprising things is this game we did not hear anything in regards to a leak of this Miles Morales game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be having another Spider-Man game released by the end of this year. That is crazy to me.
Yeah. This is one of the things that gives me hope for about the Horizon thing possibly being a launch game or near launch game, because I mean this is something that's supposed to be coming in 3 months or so, give or take, and we got maybe 10 seconds of gameplay in there. But I think that's the case for. I mean, like saying I was bummed out we didn't get a full deep dive on it. Like this goes back to maybe I'm thinking there's been rumors that there's supposed to be a state of play in August, so maybe we get the price, the release date, and we get a deep dive on the PS5 launch then, and
we may very well.
Yeah, and maybe that's where we see more of the Miles Morales game, and Horizon and things like that, but and maybe more concrete dates for near launch stuff. Like, but yeah, I think I was first off stunned that I mean this might be a full on sequel. Is this really Spider-Man 2 or is this more like an off kind of thing of it? Yeah, I don't know. I was definitely shocked to see it. Like this is like this in Gears of War, like or not Gears, God of War, sorry, or like the two things. I was like for sure. I'm like we're not going to see anything from there. So this admittedly gave me hope that oh man maybe we'll get God of War 2 tease in here, which I was hoping for, but I whatever. But yeah, I think it's really cool. I love where they ended off in Spider-Man. So the fact we're getting more of that sooner than I thought is awesome. But because speaking of games that are probably going to be near launch PS5 games, Resident Evil 8 Village was revealed. I don't think we really got any real gameplay from this, or at least I can't tell. But I don't know. This is something they got a 2021 release date or release window. But the rumor was it was going to be a January 2021 game, but it could have got pushed off because of everything going on pandemic. It might still be an early in the year game, but it might not be January. But what were your thoughts when you saw the trailer?
I got vibes of Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
Seriously got vibes from Resident Evil 4. And
Makes sense.
I mean that in the absolute like nicest sense, because there were a lot of elements that really reminded me of the scope and like the scale in regards to how mysterious the plot was than say like an RE4. I mean, the whole aspect of the village and everything, that sort of gave me like flashbacks to going through the original village inside of Resident Evil 4. But I really liked the trailer for Resident Evil 8. I mean, I felt like this was a well-made, well-constructed, well-paced trailer. Where you see the first initial thing is you see the whole introduction where like this guy and his lady and stuff are talking in regards to like a story of some form, and all of a sudden you just get transferred to walk into this random house and stuff, and all of a sudden you open this pantry and this old man just freaking just fires off a shotgun or something like that, and you're like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden the pan out where it feels like all these random monsters, and you gotta expect the T-virus is somehow involved inside of this shit, because it always seems to be the case. But, oh man, all the various creatures. And I'll tell you what, that werewolf creature that you saw inside the trailer, it really reminded me, like, of the big old giants and stuff from Resident Evil 4 with the same face.
Oh, yeah. The El Gante.
Yeah, the El Gigante or something like that. But it was weird, because there were elements of that where you see werewolves, and it looked like you see fucking vampires. I'm like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. At first, I did not really think it was a Resident Evil game because of some of those elements that kind of threw me off. At first, when I saw the whole aspect, it felt like an element of, say, like Silent Hill, and I thought to myself, Silent Hill? No, that doesn't make any sense to me, because there were other elements that just didn't jive with that. But I kind of thought it was something relates to something more of a gothic horror thing, maybe like a Castlevania, maybe like something of that sort. But it dawned on me as soon as I saw a logo of the Umbrella logo on the freaking counter inside one of the transitional scenes, where it's like, holy shit, this is Resident Evil 8. I mean, we've heard rumors that this game was going to be announced relatively soon. However, the look of it, the whole aspect of what the material is going to pertain to, possibly like escaping like a freaking village of some form, because the last game was Resident Evil 7, like Resident Evil 7, you're pretty much trying to escape from this whole demented family, am I correct?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it feels like that, but not as isolated. It's just like an entire village, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Ah, man. It made me more excited. Honestly, I really didn't like give Resident Evil 7 a chance when it first came out, and I've always looked at it as like, hey, you know what, man? Maybe it's always on that fence, because I don't really finish Resident Evil games, but Resident Evil 8 looks like that type of game with enough intrigue, and the whole thing with Christopher Redfield at the end of the trailer. That's
yeah, that was amazing.
Fucking cool. That was fucking cool. And he looks like a freaking a grizzled little fucking veteran. You see like some bits of weight is all like gone forth and stuff. I'm like, oh my god,
He's
how
seen
are
some
they
shit.
gonna figure it out? It's like how is it's like after Resident Evil 6 and everything else. It's like, oh shit. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god. What were your thoughts?
Admittedly, I kind of figured it out pretty quickly because I was like, I remember like there was like a leaked screenshot a while back, and like all the rumors of like pretty much everything we saw in this was like exactly what the rumors were and leaks were. We were
Wow.
talking about a couple months ago. It was like the witch, the fact that it was called Resident Evil 8 Village, and that the fact that the ILL made the 8 for Resident Evil 8, like
Yep.
everything to a T, like matched up the werewolves, all of that. So, but I mean, I don't know. And then there's that insect thing they said that follows you all throughout the game, kind of like Mr. X and all the from like the other games. But yeah, I was still blown away by this. As somebody that, I played Resident Evil 7 when it first came out, and I admit back in the time it was like bad time to play that game for me. So it's something I've always wanted to go back to. I've repurchased it, and like I just never got around to playing it. So like I've been kind of tempted more lately to go back into it and give it another chance. And the fact that it continues on with Ethan's story, Chris Redfield just shooting the fucking girl at the end, all that. Yeah, it was great. I love that. Not so much him killing the little girl, but just the fact that Chris Redfield's like, he's just like, fuck it. It's like he was always like the hoorah kind of guy, and now he's just like,
Dude,
fuck this.
I like the reaction. It's like, oh, Chris, why?
Yeah. He's changed a lot. I mean, when you punch a boulder into a volcano like he did in Resident Evil 5, I mean,
my
you've done
God.
some shit. You can't, it's just it's over. It's over after that, So yeah, I love that. Man, yeah, I need to go back and play Resident Evil 7, but that was a great reveal. And hopefully we'll get more from that as well soon. Next up, we got Gran Turismo 7 was revealed. Something this pretty much came out like the people that work on this game. I can't remember the name of the studio, but
Polyphony Studio.
thank you. They like a few of the people were like posting on Twitter about like retweeting the PS5 event yesterday. So I was like, okay, well, Gran Turismo is going to be at this event. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It showed off as a couple minutes of car driving. It looked really pretty. It's Gran Turismo. That's my opinion. What about you?
I wasn't surprised that Gran Turismo was going to be shown at this event. What kind of threw me for a loop is when they transitioned from the gameplay and everything else. I mean, granted, the game looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It's Gran Turismo. Every time a new PlayStation is revealed, there's always something in regards to how great the Gran Turismo game looks. The overall selection screen, where you're choosing different objectives to go, I thought that was actually overview map, and then you could travel to it. But at the same thing, I thought it was like sort of a... But, stupid me, it's a simulation racer. I thought it was going to be like an arcade-style, like, thing, like, say, a Forza. Like a Forza Horizon sort of stunt. And honestly, I would have been a lot more into that if it were that. I loved the element of, like, sim racing stuff, but I also love the element of, like, exploring inside of a fucking car and then just going through, like, a train, like, traveling across all the damn field and stuff, or maybe, like, accidentally clipping some cows or whatsoever. It's just something that I love to do inside of a car. I think Burnout Paradise really spoiled me with that, though. But
Yeah, we peaked too early in driving good driving games in 2006.
Not 2006, like 2009, I think it was.
Was
Burnout
it really?
Paradise.
Good God, maybe you're right. Okay.
Dude, you forget the dude. You forget I freaking platinumed that damn game like back
You
around
did.
2010, 2011.
Yeah, you did that. And then you about did it again a couple years ago.
Yeah, I almost did it again. But I think Gran Turismo 7 looks fantastic. And honestly, I was thinking about getting the fucking Gran Turismo game for the PS4 Pro. But after seeing not only just the confirmation of that, but even after the conference was done and over with, in terms of like Remedy with Control coming to PS5, because that's apparently a thing, I could just hold off.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But
Yeah.
what did you think of GT7?
I don't know. I'm not like the simulation racer guy.
Yeah.
I definitely like. I enjoy. I'm more of like the crazy over the top, like we said, Burnout Paradise, Mario Kart. Those are my racing games. So I don't know. I mean, it looks really pretty. It's probably gonna be one of those games that's gonna come out at launch or near launch. Just give it though, like every console always has that showpiece driving game because those are the best games to show off graphics. So hopefully it's just not the Drive Club this generation.
Oh,
Uh,
God.
yeah, not that mess, but I don't know. I'm sure people that love GT are gonna love this game. So happy for them. Oh, I forgot to mention this. It was really fucking weird how this whole thing started off with a goddamn. It started with Rockstar, and I'm like, whoa, with the Rockstar logo, and I was just like, oh shit, are we doing we're doing GTA 6 right now? And then it was just like 3 minutes of GTA 5, and then hey, everybody gets that free now on PS4 along with $1 million in Shark Cash, where the fuck it is. I don't know, and then also it's gonna be enhanced and all that for PS5. What was your thoughts on that?
Oh boy. I'll tell you what. I really wasn't expecting anything in regards to, say, Rockstar revealing anything, and when that logo popped up, I'm like, okay, what's this all about now? And all of a sudden, it's like you see GTA 5, I'm like, oh no, what's gonna go? I'll tell you what's hilarious though, is seeing the reaction of other people when the Rockstar logo pops up, and all of a sudden like, huh? And all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's just more GTA 5. What's hilarious about it is GTA 5 is the online portion. I believe is going to be free for PS5 owners, and like PS4 owners are going to get like $1 million in terms of the in-game currency, apparently. But it is what it is. I kind of expected like more games to transfer from PS4 to PS5. I was not expecting was not expecting Grand Theft Auto 5 to do that. The damn game is going to be on 3 generations of consoles now.
Yeah. But
PS3, yeah. PS4, and now PS5. But the good thing about it is they're touting the thing's going to be more expanded and actually have some more work put into it. So it feels like they're answering calls. They're answering like what fans have wanted for single player DLC, but inside of a grander scale. It feels like.
Yeah. It makes sense to put it on there. I think, just because I mean it's been on the we do the MPDs every month. It's on there every fucking month. It's like
it's their best selling game pretty much
of all time. Yeah, at least in the I mean. That wasn't a packing game. It's probably the greatest selling game of all time. But I don't know. I just didn't like the fact it was like that's how they. I guess I get it. Like, hey, download means like I said, it's one of the biggest games going still today. So, hey, if you have a PS4, you get it now for free. And also, if you get the PS5 within the first 3 months if you have a PS5 within the first 3 months of GTA 5 coming to PS5, you get it for free. So
wow.
That's something that they didn't announce it. I don't think they announced at the event, but. That's something that was revealed later on. So,
I wonder if there's like an element where you can actually just download the PS or like confirm that you're purchasing the PS5. Like, no, not PS5. No, but I kind of wonder if if there's an option where you can go onto the store and just claim that you like are downloading the PS5 version of Grand Theft Auto 5 and get that for free.
Yeah. I'm curious how. I mean, that makes me wonder about the whole backward because I mean, backwards compatibility has already been proven to be. It was already said to be a thing. So, I don't. Weird. I don't know. I guess that's something.
You bring up a good point.
I don't know. I guess we're like how is they're doing the smart delivery thing with Xbox. How's it going to work with PS5, PS4, and all that shit? So I mean, that's probably something. There's that like I said. There's that rumored state of play in August. So we'll probably hear more then. But moving on. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I audibly gasped when I saw Ratchet come through the portal, or the rift rather. But what I don't know. What was your thoughts when you saw this thing?
I loved it.
Yes,
I absolutely loved it. The moment you see Ratchet just go and just emerge out from the freaking thing, and all of a sudden the trailer just him and Clank going through this dimensional warps and going through all these dimensional places, and all of a sudden them getting just separated, and all of a sudden it's like it pans out. There's a female Lombax. I'm like, what the fuck? That's surprising, but it looks like more a continuation from the 2016 Ratchet and Clank. I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, 2016. I wasn't hallucinating. It looks more of that, and I like that. I mean, it's classic Ratchet and Clank gameplay, only with the differences in regards to what this current game's presenting, and it looks like it's going to be a much more finely detailed. You see elements of the ray tracing in regards to the freaking flooring and when you're going through certain scenes, and I thought that was pretty amazing in that regards. I love how fluid the gameplay looks still. It looks even better when they got everything else like with 4K, ray tracing, everything else is going through. But oh man, I really am looking forward to playing Ratchet and Clank. However, that's one of those other games that's not going to be coming out anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is probably the game that got the most gameplay probably at the event. So I could see it possibly being a launch game, being that that knack style. That they love having that kind of family friendly game at launch. So I can see that this being fitting that role. And I'd love for that because it'd be instead of knack we're getting a good game. But yeah, I never played Ratchet and Clank before, the 2016 one, and I fucking love that game. So to get a sequel, I mean, this is one of the ones like I felt more than 50% positive that we were gonna get it, but I still was like, it's like 51% positive that we're gonna get it. But I was like, the big enough of a doubt there. I'm like, maybe we're just not gonna get another Ratchet and Clank, and the fact that not only we're getting it, but like they revealed right now is awesome. Like, I loved all that. I love like the way he does like kind of like a hook shot to like a rift, and like he just pulls the world to him, and it's like a teleporter / hook shot thing. But just the way that looked, the style, like I said, the fluid, like it didn't feel like it broke the combat or anything. Like the way the enemies were stunned when he was like all of a sudden he's right behind them. Yeah, I love that. I hope we get more of the guns, because that's obviously the best part of the Ratchet and Clank games is all the different guns they have. But
yeah, where's Mr. Zircon?
yeah. Yeah.
I love doing on the original Ratchet and Clank, just firing on Mr. Zircon, just destroying shit.
Yeah, or the one makes everybody do disco.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that one. Give me that one. But yeah, I love that. And then moving on, Blue Point's game this is like one of the worst kept secrets in gaming. The Blue Point's next game is Demon Souls, is as a remaster of that. So, or the remake rather. I don't. You're more into the Dark Souls stuff than I am, and the Bloodborne. I respect those games, but never want to play them. I don't know. What did you think when you saw this?
Loved it. I honestly loved it because, for one, it gives me less of a reason to go get a fucking PS3 now.
True.
Because that was one of those games where, when Sony released it initially, I passed on, honestly, because those style of games, they weren't really my style of things until I started playing a little bit of like games like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and stuff. It made me more excited because now we're getting Demon Souls on current generation hardware. You're getting all the various like increases and stuff. But what's also interesting is this also opens up the possibility for Sony to do future iterations of Demon Souls if they choose to. That, in of itself, may potentially happen. But what I'm more excited of now is being able to play through the original Demon Souls, like, inside of modern hardware. That's the most exciting part about it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for the people that wanted this. This seemed like, there's also the rumor that the other game that Blue Point was possibly making was a Metal Gear Solid remake, which was more like a pipe dreams type rumor, it sounded like, than it was like a realistic one. But maybe that's next. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I think this one got like, was it 2021? I want to say. I thought it was 2021, but I'm not seeing anything on that. I don't know. I'm happy. Like I said, I'm happy for the people. That game looks stunning. But yeah, I'm just not a Souls guy. So want to be, just don't have the patience or enough money to buy TVs and controllers, because I'm gonna be throwing my controller through TVs every time I play it. But moving on to the next game, Death Loop was shown off. It's from the Arcane Studio guy, people that made the Dishonored games. Shown off. It was revealed. We had like a teaser trailer last year at the Bethesda E3 event. It's coming out. I actually didn't know this until just now, but it's gonna be a holiday 2020 game. It'll be exclusive to the PS5 console, but it'll also be on so it's not coming to Xbox. It'll be exclusive to PS5. So this is something that I was kind of curious about because like Bethesda was supposed to have a E3 event this year, but since E3 got canceled, they just canceled their event. And it's like, well, okay, they said they were going to talk about Deathloop and Tokyo or Ghostwire Tokyo and a couple other games. It's like, where are those games at? Where are they going to be at? Are they just going to shadow drop them? Are they going to do like something eventually? So it seems like they're being morphed into this PS5 event. Maybe we'll see something with the Xbox event. But yeah, so Deathloop was revealed. It is like a looks very much like a Dishonored. It has the graphic style of Dishonored. Some of the gameplay, but it's not so much. You can do stealth or you can do action, but like Dishonored was built more around you were supposed to be stealthy. That was the whole like part of the game, and like you can get different endings. You get bad endings or good endings depending on how many people you kill in the game. And this one just seems like you can just kind of do whatever you want. And also, like, you're an assassin, and you have to kill 8 people in one night. Then there's also an assassin that's trying to prevent you from killing these 8 people. And every time they kill you, you die, and then you have to go and get a little bit further every time. But you can also kill them, but they come back and can still kill you. So, I don't know. We got a decent amount of gameplay in this one, too. What did you think of Deathloop?
Deathloop. Man, I'll tell you what. I really liked how it introduced that world, because we only saw little bits of it from when Bethesda last revealed it. But in regards to gameplay, I really like how influenced it is by Dishonored. And I love the elements of the style of it to where it feels familiar, yet a lot of the story elements and a lot of the relooping of this and that, it's presented in a different way. And quite honestly, it looks interesting. I love the concept, love the premise. The gameplay looks solid. It's kind of interesting. I think they hinted it towards the end of the trailer, where you get to control the opposite, the other person as well, that is going through and just trying to kill you, and this and that. I think they gave that little hint away or so, but it looks like 2 different play styles, honestly. Like, one, you have like an assassin sort of like killer, and the other one is the main protagonist of a Deathloop, going through sort of like a similar aspect that you were playing sort of in Dishonored. But I loved how crazy like combos you could do. Like set up certain enemies and like do this random this crazy crap that just do all that stuff. That chaotic sort of gameplay was definitely seemed sort of interesting.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I really enjoyed this gameplay what we got for this one. I'm not. I really enjoyed the first Dishonored game. Never really bothered. I didn't really want more of it. And I did not like Prey, so they've been very much kind of hitting hot and cold with me on games. But this one looks great. More what I want from them. And the biggest thing for me is like I don't, not trying to hate on the game the game play of a game or what they do, but I hate roguelikes. So that's gonna be my biggest key for this game, is how much of a roguelike is it? Because I just hate the whole die, repeat, get a little bit better every time, die, and then get a little bit better. Like how much how much repeating of things am I gonna do? Like there's definitely like oh what the fuck, Blood Roots I played earlier this year. Enjoyed that quite a bit. That was more of a rhythm to that game than anything. I think that made me enjoy it. That's my key thing for this one, is like how much of a roguelike is this? Because it looks great, but I've seen a lot of roguelike style games that look great, and then I'm like, oh, maybe this will be the one, and it's just not the one. So I don't know, but I hope sounds like it's gonna be a launch game. I don't know if it's coming to PS4 as well, but I want to wait. That's probably gonna be a wait and see for me on that one, but looks promising. Then I don't really have too much to say on this one. NBA 2K21, we got gameplay for that one. It looks like I forgot his name, the Pelicans player, Zion Williams, I think is his name.
Right.
Yeah, he looks probably gonna be the cover boy for this game. I don't know if they've already announced that actually, but we got some gameplay, I guess, of that. But I don't know. Do you have anything to say on that one?
No, not really. It really wasn't too impressive, in my honest opinion. They show the character models to show how sweaty the dude looks as he's playing the basketball. So, I really don't have anything to say about it. Yeah,
I did the audible whoop-de-doo when I after that was over. It's just like, it's not even real. It's just like it's him sweating in a gym, dunking a basketball. So it's not even the full gameplay of it. Where's Fight Night when you need it? That's you want to see sweat. That's the game we want. You want to show you how impressive sweating is. That's what you need right there. But moving on. Oh, Sackboy: A Big Adventure was announced. It's looks like more of a. It's from the Little Big Sackboy from Little Big Planet. Looks like it's gonna be a 4-player co-op 3D platformer. I loved this trailer. I want this game. I hope this is like, if we don't get Ratchet and Clank at launch, I hope we get this one, because this gave me immediately Mario 3D World vibes, which we could be getting a 3D World as well later this year. But I want this game so bad. I've never even played Little Big Planet before. I have no interest. I've never played any of them, even the kart racer one they made. I no interest in the Little Big Planet games or the series so far up until this point. It looks like Yoshi's Woolly World, Woolly World, but with 3D World gameplay. So I adored everything about this. What was your thoughts on it?
I thought it was well crafted. Sumo Digital really did a fantastic job in presenting the overall presentation of, Sackboy's Big Adventure. It, like you said, it does remind me of Super Mario 3D World in terms of the level design, in terms of the aesthetics, and in regards to like the whimsicalness of that. It's going to be interesting to see if that's going to be a 2021 game. But honestly, I really want to see more of this game now, because they got my attention in that regards. Because previously, the last time we saw Little Big Planet was Little Big Planet 3 on the PS4. It was sort of like in the middle. There wasn't really any type of too much buzz with that game, and Media Molecule quickly went to the work on Dreams after. But this definitely is something that I really am interested in. Is because of its influence, obviously, to Super Mario 3D World and how well crafted that game was. But also, they give it that Little Big Planet flair, where there's a lot of aesthetics, a lot of cutouts, a lot of like pre-made sort of things. It kind of reminds me of like the level editor from like the Little Big Planet games. Only now you have these constructed like 3D-esque type levels. And yeah, I'm excited to see more of it.
Yeah, like I said, adored that. Want more of that. Next up, Hitman 3 is coming January 2021. We got a little bit like of some gameplay of like, or showed off a little bit of the world and do a level in Dubai. I am not a Hitman fan. This seems like something I would like. Like there's that with that Bug Snack game we were talking about earlier. Like that was something I would enjoy for a little while, but would fall off of eventually. Just seems like it's a great game to like just jump into and do whatever the basis of the fuck you want. But yeah, I don't have much fanfare for this, but I think this people will love this game when it comes out. What do you think?
To be perfectly honest with you, I really don't have too much familiarity with the Hitman series, but I am excited that Hitman 3 did look pretty darn good from what initially I saw. But to be perfectly honest, though, I don't have any interest in it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to. It's something I think if I gave it a try, I'd probably enjoy it. But there's just so many other games to be playing. Next up, Ghostwire Tokyo. This was the other big Bethesda game that they revealed last year, but we didn't really get any gameplay of, but was finally shown off here. It's coming out in 2021. It is from the Tango Gameworks guys. They did Evil Within 1 and 2, and then Shinji Mikami, who made Resident Evil 4. Didn't he create Resident Evil? I think he was the director of the original Resident Evil.
Yeah, I believe he was.
I want to say he was.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I can't remember. But this is like that first person game with like there's ghosts and you're in Tokyo. I don't know what. I did not like this honestly too much. I don't know, just nothing clicked with me. When I saw when I first started seeing the world, I'm like, okay, this could be cool. Like I love Evil Within 1 and 2. Maybe it's a little bit of me being butthurt about the fact that it's not Evil Within 3. But I know those games didn't sell super well. But I don't know, everything I saw about it's like first person, like, but you only see his hands, and he does like weird like he can make like ice. It's almost like reminds me of Skyrim almost. So he's like shoots out flames and ice from his hands. And there's like floating ghosts, like schoolgirls with no heads and shit like that. I don't know. Nothing about this seemed something I'd like. But what do you think?
Concept is weird, but at the same time, it definitely would be fun just to try to play through. That's what initially I thought. I thought some of the creatures that were presented in that trailer were kind of nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you see this one you see this one ghost or something like that. This woman, it looked like this woman's like stretched head or something like that. It looked like just, oh man, I forget where we're at in terms of what time in the trailer where I saw that. But at the same point, it is an interesting concept in my honest opinion. I like the fact that it's in first person. I don't know why, but it's the perspective of it. I think makes the game feel much more engaging to me. But I still need to go over this trailer like another time or some, or wait on some more gameplay because it seems like the type of game I would play, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like everything else about the game looks like something I think I would enjoy. Just once I saw the combat, I'm just like, but I mean, I don't know, maybe get some more details on it, and I'll change my mind. But yeah, I don't know. I remember when I first played Evil Within. I remember the first time I only played the first few hours, and I came on the podcast, and I just railed that fucking game. I hated it. And then like I remember I played it for Extra Life, and then like I had nothing else to play, so I played it, and I played through like 90% of that game, and I was just like, I fucking love this game. So I don't know, maybe it could be the same thing for me on this. But moving on to Godfall. This was revealed, I want to say, yeah, it was Game Awards back in December. It was the first official like PS5 game. It's supposed to be, I believe it's a PS5 exclusive game. Is it Platinum who made this?
It's actually Gearbox.
Is it Gearbox? Oh, yeah, you're right, Gearbox. I knew it was a big one. I just can't remember the name. Thank you. But yeah, it's supposed to come out. It's supposed to be a PS5 launch game. It's like a third-person action-adventure game. I don't know. I mean, from what it sounds like, and there was like some leaked like early alpha stuff for this game that came out earlier this year. It sounds like it's supposed to be like a action-adventure, third-person like Destiny style kind of game, like online, always online style one of those games. And I don't know. I thought the game looked fine. Looked like it could be cool. But if that stuff is true, I've not. This would be a game I'm just gonna completely bypass over. What about you?
I thought the trailer was weird because the music did not match the gameplay that was on the screen.
I forgot to. Yes, I immediately, I'm like, they're doing like hip hop rap over this like fair or like fantasy style like action adventure game. Like, this is fucking weird. And it's not like they didn't do it in like an ironic way. It was like they tried to be serious about it.
Yeah, it did not work at all in that regards, and it kind of threw me a loop for Godfall, because here you presented with that last trailer to where it was more distinguished, and all of a sudden you have a hip-hop track that's matched to this style of game that does not have any fucking rhyme or reason to be, because it really threw off the dynamic what was going on inside the gameplay trailer itself. The gameplay-wise, it looked okay. The look of the game obviously looks pretty damn good, my personal opinion. But it kind of left me with a bad aftertaste in my mouth. Like, it just left me to that point where, what is this game's identity? What is this thing? Is it going to be like an average sort of third-person action game? It left me with a lot more questions than answers, quintessentially.
Yeah. I definitely want to see more of it, but could be good. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe we'll see. But the next game showed up. This was, I don't know, maybe the weirdest one shown. The Pragmata. It's a Capcom game. It's the one with like the guy in like the spacesuit in like New York City, modern day New York City. This is the one that had the 2022 release date. And it's like him, and like he has like the girl, but she's like a robot or something, or AI. And they shoot through like a portal or something. They end up on the moon. I don't know. And when I first saw this, I'm like, is this like some sort of like Death Stranding thing? I don't know. I didn't beat the game, so maybe this is like, when I saw the suit, I'm like, I immediately thought, okay, I'm like, oh, maybe they're teasing the next Kojima Games production game or something. I'm like, okay. And then it's Capcom game. I don't know. There was no gameplay. There was nothing. It was just, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. There's just a guy in a spacesuit fought a creature, and then they ended up taking an AI girl onto the moon. Anything you want to say on that one?
There really wasn't anything else that looked appealing inside that trailer. If anything, I was just thoroughly confused what the hell was going on the screen.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe gameplay of the game eventually will make me think otherwise. But I think maybe somebody was on an acid trip when they created this trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. Or yeah, it's like we want to be like Kojima. Like let's do our best Kojima impression. But yeah, maybe we'll. I don't know. Didn't do much for me, but that's like that was the one game that had the 2022 release date. So obviously, have a ways away, and probably won't even hit 2022 with the way games go. Not an insult, but that's just how games work. Astro's Playroom was revealed. It's going to be a free PS5 game at launch. It's kind of basically like it's the Wii Sports kind of thing for the PS5. They had like the Astro. Oh, I can't remember. Was it Playroom or something? There was an Astro thing.
Yeah, it's the Playroom.
Yeah, for the PS4, and then they also had one with the VR headset too to kind of just show you the things, the way the fucking controller works. So I don't know. I don't really have anything I want to say on that other than I can't wait to get that PS5 DualSense in my hand because it looks badass and it sounds like it's gonna be badass. But I don't know. What about you?
Honestly, the game looked pretty colorful, in my honest opinion. I'm kind of questioning whether this is going to be something that's going to be out of the box for the PlayStation 5 when that initially launches.
Yeah, it'll be. It says it's preloaded on every PS5 for free.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be one of those demonstration sort of tech demos. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, honestly, I don't have anything else really to say about it because it kind of reminds me just a standard testing sort of game.
I don't think I ever even played the original one. I fucked with the VR one a little bit when it first came out, when I first got my VR headset, and I don't foresee myself messing with this any. Moving on to Oddworld Soulstorm. This is it's coming to PS5. There was I thought there was a release date for this one. There was not. I've never been an Oddworld guy. I always kind of honestly like back on the PlayStation day, kind of when I was a kid, kind of creeped me out a little bit. I just didn't like the art style. But I saw this and I once again, much like the Sackboy Adventure game, I really like what I saw from this game. Like the kind of the two, it's side scroller, but it's also 3D. But I don't know. I'm like, wow, I'm actually really interested in this game. What about you?
I thought this game looked pretty fucking good, in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
The visual fidelity of the game in and of itself is very creative. Honestly, in regards to certain elements of the trailer where you see it looked like Abe is like transitioning from one platform to another where it's like a moving train or whatsoever the heck the thing is, and all of a sudden he goes right to the screen. All of a sudden you see all this explosion sort of thing happens, and oh boy, I'll tell you what though, it was kind of interesting to see a little bit more of like a mature sort of take in regards to this game. But what's kind of interesting, you see in the trailer, you see it looked like either Abe or one of the people or something that try to cut the stitches or something like that.
Oh yeah,
freaking mouth. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for there to be a new Oddworld game. Those games are very puzzle based. They're very interesting in terms of play. I know that inside the original game specifically, there were aspects where you could choose to save the people or you could let them die.
Yeah.
In regards to getting the good or the bad endings or something like that. But it's kind of like what that developer guy was saying is in regards to certain Oddworld games and stuff, if you fail, there is a lot of funny animations and a lot of funny shit that goes on inside the Oddworld games. But it made me more interested in wanting to play Oddworld in general after watching it because the fully realized thing, and this is it kind of takes me back to how games were back like around the mid to late 90s. How Oddworld has come from that all the way up to what it is now, currently, and you have these lush visuals, you have all this other stuff, it kind of feels like a fully realized version of Oddworld and how it's supposed to be, in that retrospect.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe how like absolutely gory it was when like all the other creatures behind him were dying and shit.
Yep.
I was just like blown away because like I said, I don't know much about those games. But I don't know. It looked great. Next up, a game called Returnal. It's from the developers Housemarque. They did what was the PS4? Fuck it, the PS4 launch game. That we had the free the PS Plus game we got. The side scroller shooter game.
The side scrolling shooter. God, was it
PS4 launch.
Resogun?
Yes, Resogun. Thank you. This is them.
Okay, Resogun.
That made that. So they've always had a relationship with PlayStation, and this was another thing that was like it was like heavily rumored that they would reveal their next game at this event. It's like you're a woman that goes up into space, or you're in space, and it's like a third person action game fighting off aliens, but basically she keeps dying, and then is trying to make it off this thing, but she dies, and then she comes back, and then she has it's a roguelike game. I don't know, like it looks great, looks fantastic, but it's kind of my opinions, like I said about Deathloop, where the game looks great, but I don't like roguelikes. But maybe this could be different, or could be the game that makes me like roguelikes. But I don't know, what'd you think of this game?
To be perfectly honest with you, I really didn't know what to think too much about it. I think the initial trailer looked pretty all right and stuff. The gameplay in of itself were still remaining to be seen, but the concept's cool. I look forward to seeing more of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I think it'd probably be a great game, but it's just not my kind of game. But I don't know. I love space, but I don't know. Don't like roguelikes. Next up, this was a very weird fucking game. Destruction All-Stars. It is a PvP Destruction Derby game. I've never heard of the developer. I think it was Lucid. No release date or timetable or anything like that, but it's like you're in like an arena, like a Destruction Derby type thing, but there's like items and like saw blades that can destroy your vehicles, or you crash destroy vehicles, and once your vehicle's destroyed, you get knocked out of it, and then like people can run you over, and you have to or you can avoid getting hit by the other cars. So I don't know, this looked like it could be like a fun game to play. Like this could be like a great like PS Plus game, like a Rocket League style thing. Like that's immediately what I thought of. I'm like, all right, cool, this would be awesome. Come out early next year, play it for free, get a big install base right away, and this is something I could see us playing a lot with the Talk Ship guys and shit. But I don't know, what did you see? What were your thoughts on this one?
I felt like it was a mix between Twisted Metal and Rocket League.
Yes, exactly. I thought at first it was fucking Twisted Metal. I was waiting.
I could see how you think, because it's like a huge arena and it's like a card battling thing. It's like, well, that's Twisted Metal sort of inspired. But instead of making Twisted Metal, they go forth and combine it with like a big old arena sort of thing, like an Overwatch or whatever the hell. And all of a sudden it's like you have this 90s style teams against one another. It's big old like Destruction Derby sort of like crazy crap. And quintessentially, the car models reminded me of Rocket League. The whole combat reminded me of Twisted Metal. This definitely has that inklings to where it would be most beneficial as a PlayStation Plus game. At least to get somebody started into seeing the whole hook, in terms of like a new free-to-play game or whatever the hell. It just gave that vibe. I thought the gameplay looked pretty fun, fast, chaotic, and stuff. But I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. This seemed like it'd be fun to play. Like I said, though, if they make this like try to make this a Rocket League PS5, I would be totally down for that. I mean, we didn't see any gameplay, but the idea of it, if what it looks like comes to fruition, I'm all in on this one. And the next thing shown off was Project Athea. It is a Square Enix game. It's exclusive to PlayStation 5. Gables, is this just Final Fantasy 16?
I think this is going to be Final Fantasy 16, dude. And the reason why I think that is because there are elements of that trailer that is classic Square RPG-esque type of thing, where you have this super elaborate sort of cinematics. You have this protagonist and stuff where it kind of reminds me of a lead RPG character.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, a lot of the gameplay elements of that trailer really impressed me. The game graphics, obviously, they're on par because it's Square Enix and they always spend a lot in order to make their games look good. But this Project Athena, it's got to be some form of a Final Fantasy game. I mean, Oh my gosh, it's just a lot of it. It feels like it's either an action RPG or something in regards to something completely like different in terms of like a Final Fantasy style. But that's what I think.
Yeah, I'm on board completely with the Final Fantasy 16 thing. People have even compared like shots from this trailer like to like screenshots of other like Final Fantasy games, and there's like things in the environment that match up completely with what's shown. So I think that this is probably like a 2025 game. This feels like it definitely looks like a Final Fantasy 7 remake kind of vibes to it a little more fast paced, obviously. But the first thing actually before I knew anything else about it was when I saw this, it was like this looks like the Unreal 5 engine. That tease that the what was it? Not the tease but
Tech
the
demo.
tech demo. Thank you. That we got about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Like I thought this was that. I really did. I really thought this was what was teased at that. I'm like when they showed her jumping around and moving around. I'm like, oh, this is. I'm like I was like when we saw that, I'm like that game looks cool. I know it's a tech demo, but like that game looks like it could be fun. And I was like, oh, cool. It's actually a game. It's a Square Enix game. All right, awesome. And then I'm like, oh no, it's actually Final Fantasy 16 probably. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy guy. Obviously, 7 has changed me on that quite a bit. But I liked a lot what I saw. The game looked stunning. Like I said, the Square Enix, they are really good at graphics for sure. So I don't know. It could be cool. I like what I saw. Want to see more from that one. But Square Enix is probably the worst at showing games too early. So this is a game I see that's probably 4 or 5 years away. Next up, honestly, probably the weirdest fucking thing at the whole event, a game called Stray. No gameplay. It's supposed to come out in 2021. There's like robots walking around with weird emoji heads. And then there's a fucking cat walking around with a backpack. And that was the trailer. But I don't know, Gables, what was your reaction when you saw this?
This is like a cat simulator.
Oh man, what if it's just? Oh, that'd be great. I'm all in for that. Actually, that sounds better than anything else I could think of.
To be perfectly honest, that's what it really felt like. It felt like this entire conference, this whole entire like presentation and stuff. This is like all these elements of cats everywhere. You know, like the cat influence, like the whole thing from the previous one with the dude in the astronaut suit and the little girl and stuff, and the mechanical freaking android cat thing that was sort of creepy. But then all of a sudden it's like you have this game where it's Stray, where it's entirely around a cat. It is a game that's entirely around the cat, and it really reminds me of like having to help or hindrance people. Oh god, I hope this is something that's going to be more substantial. I hope it's going to be something more akin to, say, not like Untitled Goose Game, but like something that's going to be interesting and funny. Because that's the type of game that I would look forward to playing most. If it's just playing as a cat just for the sake of being a cat, and then just doing cat things, I mean, that could be fun. But there was a lot that needs to be explained about this game.
Yeah, definitely. This is but I mean, it's a 2021 game, so we've got a ways to go. I think that's the case for a lot of these games here because a lot of it was a lot of teasers and not a lot of gameplay. But yeah, I mean, this is cool because I'm a dog lover. Everybody knows that. There's a game that has a dog in it. You've increased the chances of me playing your game by 85%. That's just facts. So the fact to see maybe the fact that the cat finally gets her chance to shine, you know what? I'm all in for it. You know, I am an equal opportunist animal game player. So I played a game with the goddamn goose as the main character. I played several games with the goddamn dog as the main character. So why not cat? You know, I don't think I've ever played a game with a cat as the main character. Yeah, I'm all in. Let's fucking do it, doggy dog. Let's go. I mean, catty cat. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. I don't know. That's fucking weird. But moving on to our next game, Kina, I believe is how I say it, Bridge of Spirits was announced, the 3D action adventure game. I've never heard of the developers for it, Ember Labs. It is a PS5 console exclusive, so it means it's coming to PCs as well. But it's like your lead character, you're fighting through a forest, and you have like a magic powers and shit. This game I think looks really cool. Actually, when I first the first 30 seconds, I'm like, okay, this looks like, God, what was that 360 launch game? The fucking
Cameo.
Cameo, yeah. I'm like, I got Cameo vibes in the first 30 seconds. I'm like, I hate this. And then the creature showed up. I'm like, oh, God damn it. It's fucking Cameo, fucking Pikmin. Like, I hate this even more. And then it was like, oh, shit, no, there's actually some battling and they help you out. I'm like, I completely, by the end of this trailer, was like, did a whole 180 on it. Like, now I am like, I really like what we saw. This game looks really, really cool, really incredible. I want to know more about this game as well. 'Cause I feel like I've had that feeling about a lot of these overall. This one though, like I said, the first 30 seconds I was completely like unintrigued by. About to grab my cell phone and just scroll through Twitter while this was going on, and then I had my attention completely by the end of it. What about you?
To be perfectly honest, I was sort of the same way in regards to my interest level peaking at the end of it. It's kind of like I kind of have just the same feelings really. This game kind of felt like expanded sort of like 3D platformer, the type of style that you would have seen inside of a couple generations ago in terms of GameCube, PS2, Xbox, or even like early 360 in terms of where they're going to be going for and stuff. But I think there's going to be a lot of variety that's going to keep me personally interested in wanting to play it. But yeah, it's a good first impression. I really thought it was a good first impression with Kena.
Yeah. So, yeah, great. I want more from this. And there's no release date on this one. This one, fucking crazy as well. Goodbye Volcano High. It's like an anime style thing where I'm like, okay, this but you're like they're like dinosaurs, but they're like shaped like people.
I was thinking like BoJack Horseman. Personally.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that too. I'm not a big fan of that, but I get what you're saying. This is a 2021 release window as well. But the music gave me some like Life is Strange vibes, which I'm a big, obviously I'm a big fan of Life is Strange, especially their music. But I gotta admit, I the first time I watched this, I'm like no. And I went back and I went back and watched some of these trailers again, the ones that I was like, the ones I was most hyped for, and the ones I'm like, I gotta watch those again. And I gotta admit, watching it a second time, intrigued me. It's like they're like teenage dinosaur people, and it looks like they're like celebrating like not so much graduating high school, but more like the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs is about to come and kill us all, kind of thing is what I'm getting out of this. But I don't know. I came away just kind of the Kena thing. Like but by the end of the first time I watched it, I'm like, okay, that was weird. Whatever, just erase that from my memory. But I went back, watched it again. I was like, you know what? This could be cool. I don't like anime. Everybody knows that. But there's always some things that kind of go away from that rule for me. This could be one of them. What do you think?
I honestly didn't really have too much interest in it. I am probably going to be one of those that will probably play the game later down the road and find some enjoyment of it. It's definitely got that feel of a game that's probably going to click with me as soon as I understand the gist of what's going on. But with the trailer and stuff, I thought it was kind of out of left field, and I thought it was placed in a time in the middle of the conference where things were just starting to have like a little lull period.
Yeah.
But first impressions, besides, I honestly think it's all right. That's just kind of the feeling I had initially.
Yeah, I can get that. I mean, definitely, the concept seems cool, I should say, but we don't know what the game is actually. So I think that's something we're gonna have to see. I definitely want to see more before I jump into it. The next game shown off was a game called Jet with 2 T's, The Far Shore. It is coming this holiday. It's like I don't know how to describe this. Like the camera's really far away and you're like in a ship and you're like flying around like different planets. I don't know what the concept is. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know like what the goal is, what the plan is. I think you're trying to find a way to find a place for life to go, to move to another planet. But I don't know. Gables, this one really fucking confused me. Like there's actual gameplay shown, and I don't know what the fuck this game is. But what about you?
You trying to explain it actually sounds very confusing.
I don't know how to explain it because I don't know what the fuck it is. The whole concept is confusing to me.
Yeah, it definitely was not a good job in terms of explanations in regards to what the game is about, what are you supposed to be doing in that regards, and it definitely needs some more explaining. Personally,
Yeah,
that's kind of like how I felt.
yeah, and it's also exclusive to PS5. I gotta say. So maybe this is like their and I already forgot the goddamn name. The what's the Housemarque game we were just talking about? The PS4 launch game.
Oh boy,
God damn it, the shooter one, the side-scroller shooting game.
side-scrolling shooting game.
We just talked about it. I forgot it already.
That tells me.
Launch games.
Oh my god, dude.
Resogun. That
There
one.
you go.
I think this is like their Resogun. That's my opinion. God. 2013, man, it was so long ago.
Yeah, it was.
And next up, Solar Ash was revealed. We got some gameplay and details in this one. It's from the Hyperlight Drifter developers. So as soon as I saw the logo of the studio pop up, double fist pump for me, followed by a fuck yeah. I am incredibly excited for this. It's different from Hyperlight Drifter. It's not the same gameplay style. It's because that was a top down, more of like a Link to the Past slash like Dark Souls kind of thing to it, like the gameplay, but fast paced Dark Souls, I should say. But I fucking love that game. I bought it 3 times. I even own a physical copy of it. I bought the special edition, one of those. So Heart Machine is the name of the company. They like showed off a teaser trailer like 2 years ago, and we had seen nothing or heard nothing from them since. And much like the Fast and Furious Crossroads, I often Google what the fuck Heart Machine's up to. I even follow them on Instagram and Twitter just in case he tweets something about a fucking game. So I was really happy to see this. I can't wait. The 2020 release date for this one, release window. But yeah, oh boy, I'm excited for this one. What about you, Gables?
I'll tell you what. This was one of the first times, like, watching a trailer in this conference where it's like, I want to play this now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that type of feel. The whole feel of it. The presentation of it. The mysteriousness of what's going on inside that trailer. Everything appealed to me. That's something I don't get too often from a game. Especially if it's unveiled for the first time, where it's like, okay, I know the pedigree of the developer behind this. They made Hyper Life Drifter, one of the best games that released this generation. Now, with Ashen? Or...
Solar Ash Kingdom.
Solar Ash Kingdom, sorry. Solar Ash Kingdom. It's late.
Yeah.
With Solar Ash Kingdom, oh my god, I want to play that game.
Yeah.
I seriously want to play that game.
Yeah, I was pumped when that, like I said, that logo came up, and I love the way like when he's like the main character is running, like down like through like the cave, and like the whole world spins upside down. It gave me like a Majora's Mask vibes to that one. Is what I got from that. Yeah, I love the art style. I love the music. I cannot wait for that to come out because I've been waiting for a game from him for a very long time. 2016. So yeah. And then the next game. This is actually the last game we have to talk about. Little Devil Inside. It was I forgot to mention the Solar Ash Kingdom is it's going to PS4 and PS5 and it's exclusive to the PlayStation consoles.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but Little Devil Inside is the last game to talk about. This one's fucking weird. Like I love the art style and like I like a lot of the things I saw, but it was like kept cutting to the old man. He's like sitting on a toilet, then he's laying in bed. Like I'm assuming this is like cutting back to him as like his younger age. I don't know, Gables. What'd you think of this trailer?
I think it was like 2 points of like 2 different characters personally.
Oh, okay.
One that's having this exciting thing. All of a sudden, the other one is like had like a mundane life or something like that. The concept of it was weird, but at the same time, it got me more intrigued the more it went on. And I think it's something that I would eventually want to wait to see more gameplay of. But man, the concept of it, I think it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I really adored the art style. I thought that was cool. I don't think I've ever seen a game kind of do that art style before. And yeah, it's just like a grand adventure kind of feel. But yeah, I thought that looked really impressive. Yeah, I don't know. I like it's very weird. I want to know more. Like I feel like we say that a lot about these games because, like I said, a lot of it was teasers, and a lot of them were. These aren't a lot of the games we saw. Majority of them weren't like sequels. And a lot of them didn't even, like, there's no, like, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of pedigree to, like, them. Like, we can, like, go back to, oh, these guys made this or they made that or it's a sequel from this. But, like, a lot of these games that we've shown off were, like, we don't know a lot about these studios. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. But, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much everything that was shown off. No, we didn't get the release date. We didn't get the price. I watched it, like, I literally got home, like, right as it was ending. But I went in with no spoilers, and the only thing I was worried about was, like, pre-orders coming up. And I even told you, like, in the, like, I sent you a tweet this morning, like, asking, hey, the pre-orders come up, can you just message me, because I'm going to internet blackout until I get home. So, you know, obviously it didn't happen. I had anxiety from, like, once it started at 3:00 my time, and from, like, that point on, I was like, I had, like, anxiety of, like, okay, man, I gotta make sure I get a fucking pre-order for this thing. Like, it's gotta happen today. I mean, it didn't happen, but I mean, was there anything that you came away from, like, you wanting more of, or something that you were disappointed that we didn't get out of this?
To be perfectly honest, I wasn't really disappointed with anything inside this press conference. That is something in of itself I feel is an accomplishment, because even with this type of stylings of console unveils before, there's always that one or two things that you wish that were presented, or you wish something that was done well. Honestly, I felt that the pacing and entirety of what Sony presented today with their console unveil was pretty much one of the best things they've done in regards to not only unveiling their console, but they paced everything all nice. They had Spider-Man to start things out, then all of a sudden they had game after game after game that was exclusive from their PlayStation studios, quintessentially. So if you didn't like Spider-Man and stuff, okay, well, there's Ratchet and Clank. Oh, hey, there's Little Big Planet. There's, like, Sackboy's Big Adventure. Oh, wait a second. Now all of a sudden you have near the end of it where you have third-party stuff, so like Resident Evil 8, and then Horizon 2 to end things off. And all of a sudden you go into the whole aspect of the reveal of what the console looks like. You drop the bomb in regards to there being two SKUs with the regular physical base and all of a sudden the digital base alongside any other type of accessories that you know is going to be going right there. I felt all of that throughout the entire hour that they presented was one of the best ways they've ever done a console unveil. And that's really saying something, as opposed to just 7 years ago when they did the whole PS4 unveil. It was pretty much like a home run, because they addressed things that their competition was not doing. The whole used games aspects, the whole cheaper prices, and all the other stuff that was going on back then. Now, they sort of did something similar in regards to, now they got two SKUs on the market, potentially coming this fall, or this holiday season. Physical and digital. They got all of these games, all these first-party games that they have shown already that will be on this system, and they got adequate support from third parties, from Square Enix to Capcom in that regards, and all of a sudden you have these studios that have made great games before and released it on their platform and everything else, and oh boy, what I got going from this, it's going to be a interesting 2021. It is definitely going to be an interesting 2021. However, I felt from what we initially saw through games and stuff, this is probably one of the only press conferences where I felt that most of the games presented I wanted to try at some point. More so than, say, some of the others I've seen in the past. You know how you've gone through, like, a big old console unveil and you maybe want to play one or two games out of the whole entire thing because nothing else really seemed appealing? Or, you know, there's always that one or two lull periods and stuff. But because of the way it was paced, it didn't really have too many down periods. There's, like, maybe one or two I could think of, like, with the NBA stuff, and then, like, with some of, like, then, like, one of the other, like, third-party trailers. But from beginning to end, that was the best conference, I think. That was the best console unveil I think I've seen.
Yeah.
Tyler, what did you think?
I'm in agreement with you. I think they, I mean, outside maybe the PS4 reveal one, that E3 2013, that killed it just because it was more of just like they just fucking dunked all over the Xbox One more than anything.
Yeah.
But just from like from like the goods they had, they killed it. And I think, I mean, it really helped the fact that, it was the digital event. I really do, because that's always been my major complaint about like the pacing of a lot of these. Like, Ubisoft was awful for a few years there, where they're like
Right.
2+ hours, and it was like, hey, we're gonna have someone come out and talk about this game, then we're gonna reveal this game, and then we're gonna have somebody come out after. We're gonna have a couple people after the game is shown off, and then we're gonna sit down and talk about it for 10 minutes. And it's like, this fucking sucks. You look at like Xboxes, where like every time they show off a game, there's a big one at least, they have to have somebody else come out that worked on the game, talk about the game, and like they have to do the whole presentation, then walk out, talk about it for 2 or 3 minutes, and move on. It's like the pacing is always off, and if you're not interested in it, you can be checked out of it, after a minute or two. You just check out. And it definitely helped with this one. Like, yeah, they had people come in and talk about it, but they were 30-40 second snippets. Didn't spend too much time talking about their game. Like I said, it was like, if you were bored, you weren't bored for long, because there was always the next game that showed up. Like, outside the bigger ones, I don't think they focused on anything for more than 3 or 4 minutes, really. And if they did, it was something like a Horizon, or somebody that had pedigree to them, or something that actually had some gameplay shown to it. It wasn't just a CG trailer. Other than there's a couple of them, but I mean, like I said, they weren't. Like, there's always the next announcement that came shortly after. But I really enjoyed it. The only thing, like, it sucked, like I said, not getting the price and not getting the date. I think that's the next, probably honestly the thing I'm most curious about. I think like I said, we had a good idea of some of the things that were shown here. Obviously, a lot of shocking things were still shown, but like, other than like really what's coming at launch, like, I want what's the price, what's the date, mainly because I just want to get mine pre-ordered, and hopefully I get one at launch. But yeah, they fucking killed it. It's dangerous going first. It really is. You look at what happened with Xbox last generation, where they went. I mean, there was a PS4 event back in like February, but the first big event was, Microsoft had theirs a couple weeks before E3, and just they went in, like, I think for the most part everybody went in just like, just show us what you got. We're gonna buy your thing no matter what, and turned off a good chunk of their audience and just gave PS4 an audience. Like, all PlayStation had to do was not fuck it up, and they didn't. They went in, and like I said, they just dunked on them for 2 hours at E3 that year. So yeah, I mean, it's dangerous going first. Did they like hit a home run? Maybe. But they did a great job setting it up, and they made the job a lot harder for Xbox. Like I said, it's probably easier to go second, but I mean, now all the pressure is back on Xbox, where like all the pressure was on PlayStation to kill it, and they had to kill it here. And now everything's swung back on Xbox. And you look at, like, we had the third party reveal Xbox Inside Xbox thing last month, and it was like everybody was excited for it, and came away from like, that kind of sucked. Like,
Yeah,
like,
it was very disappointing, because they did something that they did something that really was not needed, and that was inconsistency in terms of their third party support.
Yeah. And I think the key thing is, is like, you look at what they had here, like, there's a flow to this presentation where, like, here's a big game. All right, we're gonna bring you in with, here's like, not, I don't want to say lesser games, but like, these are games you don't know anything about, or maybe like there's a big studio here, or these are like a bunch of indie games. Like, they had a flow to it, and you can see the path. You knew where they were going with it, and then big game. All right, we're gonna bring you back down. Here are some cool indie games, and there was always that next big thing that happened. And you look at the third party reveal last month, and it was just like a lot of, possibly, like I said at the time, possibly cool games, but we don't really know much about them, and there wasn't like anything with pedigree or a sequel or something that we were at least really excited for. And also we were also, hey, we're really pumped for Gears of War 6 or Assassin's Creed Valhalla or this or that. But also all these other cool games look cool. Instead of focusing on the all the great things, we're focusing on all the negative things. And I really don't, like I said, there wasn't really a lot of negatives to this, but but it's because they had a million positives, and the things that we didn't like, we just glossed over. So yeah.
If anything, it feels like history just repeated itself 7 years later, where it felt like Microsoft from the get-go, they unveiled their console and all, but that freaking unveil for their third-party support, they misinterpreted, they miscommunicated that this was going to be like something bigger than what it actually was in terms of next-generation gameplay and this and that, especially with Assassin's Creed, like Valhalla and stuff. And all of a sudden, like a month later, you have Sony that's just hitting it out of the park, not only hitting it out of the park with the games that are going to be dropping on this device, but also in terms of their console SKUs. They freaking unveiled their digital version before Microsoft did. And we knew that Microsoft's, even from the heavy rumors, there's going to be two models. There's going to be the big old Series X one that we saw all those months ago, and a Lockhart edition, apparently. But now, like you were saying before, this is a huge amount of pressure now going back to Microsoft, because next month is supposedly supposed to be them announcing a lot of their first-party games, quintessentially. More info on their system in and of itself. So it's going to be fascinating to see the next coming weeks, not only how Microsoft responds in regards to their systems, in regards to the games that will be available, but we already know going inside that Microsoft for the first couple of years is not going to have a lot of like major exclusives to the Xbox One X. They're going to be released on the Xbox One and this and that, whereas you see Sony, what they just did today in terms of their PlayStation 5 unveil, where they have exclusive stuff that's going to be coming in this holiday, and then towards 2021 there's going to be games released, and for some other 2022, there's much more incentive now for anybody right now that owns a PS4 or is on the fence of, jumping ship from Xbox One to PS5. There's more incentive to people now to invest inside of a PS5 now in terms of an Xbox Series X, and it's because of the games, the presentation, the affordability, potentially. We still don't know all the details of the PS5, obviously. The price, when it's going to release, obviously are going to be a big key of factors. But I fully believe that freaking PlayStation is going to go another generation with this stuff, because they were quick on the draw. They had a lot of consistency of what they were going to do. And overall, they pretty much kind of outmatched Microsoft again in that regards, in that space.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a 2013 repeat itself, because I mean we definitely we got to see what, I mean the first party thing is for Xbox is supposed to be sometime next month. I think it's like about this time next month, so mid-January. So
That's
a
hard act to follow, though, Tyler.
Yeah, no, they definitely, it's a hard act to follow, but they haven't shit the bed yet. They haven't had the opportunity to shit the bed, or possibly maybe even outdo them. But I mean, they have made a tall task, and it's going to be hard to do. But maybe with a month kind of gap in between, maybe like our hype level we're at right now, because it's just hours ago we watched this, will kind of die down. And it's like, and I don't not completely, but I think we'll see. We won't be as hyped as we were. We'll forget about some of these games that we're interested in right now, and I don't know. They have a chance still. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, and I just thought about this just a moment ago. What if Microsoft next month not only unveils their games, but their digital-only console, they're going to make it significantly cheaper?
That's definitely a possibility, yeah.
I think potentially we could see the price of the Xbox Series X and their Lockhart system right next month.
Yeah. I think I could definitely see that. And the big thing is, like, they're playing, they're kind of playing chicken right now, because nobody wants to follow each other on this, or no one wants to be the first one on the price right now. So I think that's the key thing, who goes first on that.
That's why Sony is not unveiling the PS5 price right now.
Yeah, I think we'll wait to see. I think we'll wait to see what happens with Xbox next month with theirs. I think there's a good chance they'll reveal theirs then. And then I think we'll see in August. I think August is the very latest for both of these consoles to give a date and a price. And I think that's when we'll see the state of play that's rumored in August. We'll get all that then, and Xbox might, since it's kind of out there that state of play is happening, maybe they'll just wait till afterwards. But I do want to mention real fast, as we were talking, it is 2:05 in the morning my time. So at 2:01 or 12:01 in your time, Gables, Pacific time, Last of Us 2 reviews came up.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so GameSpot has an 8 out of 10. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10, and just kind of scrolling.
That's no surprise.
Yeah, and then just kind of scrolling through Twitter, the people that are kind of don't have number of reviews up, but are just talking about it. Pretty much everything you expected to get out of the reviews for Last of Us, they're here. So this game, luckily, not surprising, probably gonna be one of the best games ever made. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that real fast. So my hype level is getting a little higher and higher every time when I didn't think it was possible for Last of Us 2. But Gables, we are almost 2 hours in. We spent like an hour and 45 minutes talking about a hour-long presentation. So yeah, but yeah, I want to, I think that's gonna be it for the show this week. I think we'll just save any. We didn't have a lot of other news, and like I said, we just recorded 4 days ago, so I think we will save everything else for next week. But yeah, anything you want to say before we jump out of here, Gables?
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to hear more from us, we have a Twitter page, we have Facebook page and group. We have on Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Just look up Drunk Dash Nerds, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast, Drunk Nerds Pod, and you'll find us in all those places. Twitch.tv/Colonel Gables. Go there and follow him, please. Give us big thumbs ups. Just like I said, follow, likes, comments, anything you can do, retweets, anything you can do to help us be seen more people. We really appreciate you doing that for us. But yeah, until next time, I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables, so until next time, the next generation is here.
It's sexy as fuck. And Gables?
Yeah.
Too sweet, buddy.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Excuse me. Few too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.